Hi, my name is Sarah and welcome back to Freshly Read Books. Why is this tilted so far up? Oh, kitty, hi. Hopefully Scout isn't too distracting over in the corner here. Yeah, she's just, cleaning herself. I'm sure she has her opinions about Booker too. But let's get right into it. So the shortlist is about to come out for the Booker Prize, and I made some predictions when the long list was announced, and I just want to see if I agree with the predictions that I made before, or how I think things have changed since I have read some of the books. Now, I wish I had read more of the books. I've only read 5 of the, 13? I mean, I've also, so 2 of the 13 books are the third in a trilogy, that being Mirror in the Light is the third of the Wolf Hall trilogy, and This Mournable Body is the third of the Nervous Conditions trilogy. So obviously I have a lot of back work to do because I hadn't read any of the books that came before it. And I have been working on that. I have finished Nervous Conditions as of last night. Took me a while. So I have an idea at least of the trilogy, and then I just got started into the Book of Not, which is the second book of that trilogy. And then in the Wolf Hall trilogy, I've read Wolf Hall and most of Bring Up the Bodies, so I'm close to the point where I can actually read The Mirror in the Light, the one that is on the Booker long list. So despite the fact that I've only read 5 of the books on the long list, I am still, getting there. There's one book that I've read that I have not yet made a video for. That's The Shadow King, so you'll get slight spoilers for my feelings about it in this video. But I wanted to make sure that this came out before the shortlist came out, and then I'll probably also do a reaction to the shortlist coming out, and then after that, my review for The Shadow King will be my next priority. My original predictions, and I've got them here so that I don't forget, was This Mournable Body by Tsitsi Dangarembga, for the shortlist. Did I say that? My original predictions for the shortlist was This Mournable Body by Tsitsi Dangarembga, Who They Was by Gabriel Krauze, Apeirogon by Colum McCann, The Shadow King by Maaza Mengiste, The Mirror in the Light by Hilary Mantel, and How Much of These Hills is Gold by Pam Zhang. So that was my original prediction, and I have to say most of it I still feel the same way about. That being said, I haven't read a ton of these. Wait, oh my gosh. So I've read The Shadow King, which was on that list, and besides that, all I've read is Nervous Conditions, which is the first book in the trilogy that ends in This Mournable Body. So I haven't read a ton from this, but nonetheless, my opinions have changed. Okay, so maybe let's start with the 4 books that I still think are going to be on the short list that were a part of my original prediction. So that is This Mournable Body, Who They Was. Despite the fact that I haven't read that yet, I am hearing a lot of great things about it, and I'm really excited about it. I'm really, really looking forward to reading it. So it's on its way to me. I'm so excited. The Mirror in the Light, I still think is going to be on the short list, just because both Wolf Hall and Bring Up the Bodies have won a Booker Prize before, so I think it's very likely that The Mirror in the Light will at least make it to the short list. And then also How Much of These Hills is Gold, another one I haven't read yet, but I keep hearing really good things about it. My copy just became available at the library, so I'm very excited to go pick that up and get started on it. Based off what I've heard, it still sounds like one that could be shortlist worthy. Now for the 2 books that I want to change from my original prediction. So Apeirogon, while it sounds like it's an amazing book, it sounds like it's really well received. Colum McCann does have some allegations out against him, and I have a feeling that that's going to change things a bit as far as whether or not it makes it to the shortlist. I just feel like they're not going to want to take that risk should the allegations prove to be true. But who knows? Also, The Shadow King. So The Shadow King is the one that I most recently finished from the long list, but haven't made my review on yet. And I think it's still possible that it could make it to the short list, but for me, I think the idea of it and the premise was a lot better than the execution, unfortunately. I was pretty excited for this book. It is a historical fiction, which I don't typically get along with, but I was still excited about it because it was a story I knew, not much about, and it sounded empowering. And so I was still looking forward to it. I'll get more into it, obviously, in my review, but I just think that it could have been more. And even looking back, when I think about the premise now I'm like, that has to make it to the shortlist. But then I'm like, okay, wait, remember how you felt while you were reading it. And I think it just like missed that mark a bit. So I'm going to say that this is the one I'm the most tentative on, like whether or not it'll make it to the shortlist. Anyways, and then the two that I think that will make it to the shortlist, I read them, I loved them. One is Burnt Sugar, obviously. You knew it was going to happen. You knew I was going to say it. Yeah, I have a problem. Burnt Sugar, also known as The Girl in White Cotton, I think is going to make it to the shortlist. It has been my favorite book so far. This is one of my favorite books of all time at this point. Like, this is a new favorite for me. I loved it. When I filmed my review, I didn't have a single copy of the book. I had to listen to it because it wasn't available here yet. And then somebody posted in the Booker Boy Discord Booker Boy Book Club Discord. Wow. Was that intended to be like a tongue twister? Because that was hard. With a link of where you could buy Girl in White Cotton. So I went and ordered that, and then somebody else sent a link like 2 days later for where you could get like a copy of Burnt Sugar, which is the title that it's going by like on the long list. And I love this cover. And it's got, you know, like it says like the 2020 Booker Prize on it. And so I was like, well, I guess I'll just go ahead and buy that one as well. I feel like it's okay if it's one of my favorite books, right? Like, it's okay that I own 2 copies of it. And also, they're different. This is okay. This is fine. So Burnt Sugar, I do think is going to make it onto the short list. I feel fairly confident about that one. I really, really liked it. But I know that not everybody loved it as much as I did. But like, it has to make it to the short list. And then in addition to that, Real Life by Brandon Taylor was another one that I loved, and I think that this one could also make it to the short list. Of all of my predictions for the short list, the 2 that I'm most iffy about is this one and The Shadow King, like whether or not I think that this one will make it to the short list and The Shadow King won't, or vice versa. Not to say that they would like replace each other, it's just this is the one on the short list I feel the least confident about, and then The Shadow King is the one that I'm saying won't make it onto the short list that I feel the least confident about. Does that make sense? Like, they're both like right there and I'm not sure. So I've gone like back and forth, like swapping them. But I think Real Life, I don't know. I really loved Real Life. So maybe it's just me, but like, come on. It's so good. Okay. Anyways. So to be completely clear, I think Real Life, Burnt Sugar, This Mournable Body, Who They Was, I've got this, How Much of These Hills Is Gold, and The Mirror and the Light are the 6 that are going to make it to the short list. I'm also very curious about what you guys think will make it to the short list, what you think will win it all. Did I even say what I think will win it all? I mean, I want Burnt Sugar to win it all, obviously, but I think that probably that one, or I don't know. I think This Mournable Body still could, despite the fact that I haven't read it yet. I think that Who They Was could, based on what I'm hearing. I think that How Much of These Hills Is Gold could win, based on what I'm hearing. Am I just listing out my entire short list? How about right now, I'll just say that I think that Burnt Sugar is going to win the whole thing because I wanted to win the whole thing, and I don't know enough about the other books to like make another prediction. So at least right now, I wanna like stick up for my favorite and say like it's gonna win it. So we'll say that that's my prediction as of now. But yeah, what do you think is going to make the short list? What do you think is going to win the entire thing? What's been your favorite to read if that doesn't like match up with what you think is going to win it? I'm very curious to know. I've been having so much fun like living in the world of these books. I have never read this much literary fiction in a row before, and I'm not even halfway through the list. So it's a lot, but I'm having a fun time doing it, and I'm having a lot of fun making like the long form reviews about the books. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you want to watch like more of the Booker content that I've done and you haven't like seen it all, like starting with my original predictions and then through the first couple of reviews, then I'll have a link to my playlist for it in the info card here, somewhere up here. And that way, you know, you can get totally caught up on all of my feelings about all things Booker. And then consider subscribing if you want to know my future thoughts about all things Booker. And I think I will be doing another video for a reaction to the shortlist once that comes out. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.